Hello, and my name is Johnny Cockcroft, and welcome to the e-learning session of Lammore's webinar. The title of this session, How do we practically and inexpensively enhance, streamline, plan and better manage the training, development and knowledge requirements of your staff, is quite broad. But if we ask one simple question, what makes a compelling e-learning program, we draw several key answers which, when aligned, lay the foundation for a successful performance management strategy that will aid employee retention, reduce operating costs, increase productivity and positively affect the bottom line. But before I ask the question, what makes a compelling e-learning program, let's take a look at what e-learning means to business today. Fact: almost 25% of employees leave the job due to a lack of training or learning opportunities. Fact: 12% of HR managers state that the number one reason for employees leaving is lack of training opportunity. Fact: companies that do provide e-learning report an average 26% increase in revenue per employee. Fact: it's estimated that every pound spent on e-learning generates £30 of increased productivity. Fact: 85% of every pound set aside for classroom training is spent delivering it. These hard-hitting facts will, in some way during the past 12 months, have influenced the current shape of your business and, importantly, the people within it. The benefits of deploying a successful e-learning strategy will become clear, but what forms a compelling e-learning program that can positively influence you, your team, your organisation and your customers? And what are the pitfalls? Let's take a look. People. It's well documented that employees don't leave organisations, they leave people. And people form the basis upon which your e-learning platform should be developed. E-learning needs to be flexible enough to accommodate individual needs, age groups, learning styles and differing learning abilities. Understanding your employees is paramount because varying age groups, differing levels of technical competence, personal views, how people prefer to learn and the aesthetic look and feel of your system will all influence the outcome of your e-learning program. If your employees can't relate to the content or if the system is too rigid to react to the changing needs, you won't engage and your outcomes will be weak. It's worth noting that 57% of employees say that collaboration and knowledge sharing within a team is an essential way of acquiring new skills. Interaction within e-learning and within your e-learning platform proves to positively enhance results. And also, 48% of employees use Google to inquire role-specific knowledge. Shouldn't this information be readily available already within the e-learning platform? It helps to keep the program in a controlled environment where only predetermined outcomes are available. Interestingly, just 15% of employees see e-learning as an essential tool for personal and professional development. This suggests that in such circumstances the e-learning environment hasn't been targeted specifically at the individual needs. It's perhaps too broad or not engaging, or the learning outcomes were far from specific. Your employees will want to learn only if they can relate to what's being taught. A learner-centred approach will enhance motivation by making your employees feel that the information they're receiving isn't just something they've been forced to retain, but rather meaningful material that can be applied directly to their everyday lives. If they feel they're able to tie what they've been taught to their personal and professional experiences, you've engaged them, and your outcomes will be positive. Interactive content is also an absolute must to securing engagement, and should occur at least every 4 to 5 slides. By incorporating simple, interactive elements like questions, polls, and links to additional resources, you can deliver more effective, compelling content that better holds their attention span. Typical examples include fill in the blanks, multiple choice questions, true or false answers, videos, tests, self-assessment tools, gamification, online chat, and importantly, social interaction. In order to enhance learner motivation, does your e-learning platform offer an integrated social learning strategy? Social media will play an integral role in the lives of many of your employees, so take advantage of this familiar environment and encourage interaction among staff. People are more motivated to learn if they don't feel isolated. Provide staff with social collaboration tools and encourage them to share their experiences. Arrange online discussions, Q&A sessions and debates. Encourage your staff to communicate, participate and share information so they can deepen their understanding of your subject matter. Social learning can foster powerful relationships amongst your staff and offers them an overall particularly satisfying learning experience. And isn't this a great reason for them to want to learn? So, personalised, engaged learning affords the learner with a degree of choice about what is learned, when it is learned, how it is learned, and with who it is learned. Retention and outcomes are considerably higher when interaction occurs in e-learning. The bar is raised even further when learners are able to engage with a tutor with ongoing support and feedback throughout the learning experience, known as blended learning. We found that conducting role plays or testing learned practices in a live working environment immediately after programme completion enhances retention even further. We now understand that a successful e-learning programme must align individual preferences with organisational outcomes. But how do we measure its success? The answer to this is simple. You need the right learner management system, or LMS. There are many learner management systems on the market, ranging from inexpensive or free open source software to fully integrated commercial platforms. I won't labour the subject of which LMS to choose, other than to say your LMS must be mobile friendly, contain varying methods of interaction or playful elements, have an aesthetically pleasing interface, allow employees to enrol online, keep track of their personal details, course progress and submit tests and assignments, have a virtual classroom or video facility to permit face-to-face interaction either on an individual or on a group basis, allow social networking at least within your organisation, offer tight methods of communication between learners and the tutor, enable a flexible workflow that guides learners towards a learning pathway, if required, enable translation, and importantly, delivers robust and detailed data. Understanding your data is the underlying pin that will govern the future success of your e-learning programme, and many refer to this as big data. The term big data doesn't apply to the volume of data itself, but rather the individual parts of the data that have been collected. These pieces of data can help you track every movement. Big data allows you to pinpoint areas that may need to be fine-tuned within a course or even an isolated module. It can determine where reality-based scenarios are more effective than test-based problem-solving activities. It allows you to design an effective workflow that accurately aligns the needs of your employees against your actual business objectives, and allows you to predict in a controlled environment the future of your e-learning strategy. In summary, the current speed of change means that employees need to be trained continuously in order for companies to avoid the dangers of being outthought and outmaneuvered by their competitors. Training initiatives therefore need to be monitored and managed via a consistent and reliable tracking system that can be consulted and analysed. The system's data is essential for creating management reports on productivity and also for assessing individual career advancement potential against overall business objectives. Efficiency is the name of the game. With e-learning enabling employees to absorb more material in a shorter amount of time, you can reduce training costs and also reduce the amount of time employees spend on training so they can get back to work faster. The result is greater productivity for the company as a whole. With employees retaining more and a streamlined means of measuring e-learning progress, we can more efficiently identify not only areas that could benefit from additional training, but also areas that employees have mastered so you can eliminate training redundancy. For many, e-learning is fast becoming the most important method of training within an organisation, with companies increasingly moving towards blended e-learning rather than instructor-led training sessions. How much does it cost to take your staff away from their day jobs and put them in a training room for a period of time? You lose productivity, you may have to pay for temporary replacement staff, the trainer, training materials, travelling expenses and more. Measuring the impact of standard face-to-face learning against the bottom line isn't an easy task. Measuring the actual impact of e-learning in performance and monetary terms is, however, information that should be readily available to you via your LMS. In order to determine if your e-learning deliverable works, evaluating it is essential. The evaluation of your e-learning program enables you to assess its quality and the effectiveness, and importantly, understand what did or didn't work in order to keep it or change it. Continuous improvement, therefore, of your e-learning deliverable should be one of your top priorities. Excellent e-learning platforms are developed using advanced technologies with the ability to create engaging graphical interfaces with intuitive techniques for delivering content to your employees. But it's the detailed preparation, the continued evaluation of your e-learning strategy, and the focus of aligning this with your business objectives that will determine the future of e-learning within your organisation. As the saying goes, you can have the system, it's what you do with it that counts.